Vicki Evans.
And I'm Tiegan Vicki.
And welcome to the Book Tunes podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Book Tunes podcast. I've got a bit of a shorter... Oh, sorry, I interrupted you already.
It's fine.
Episode 5, we take the award for fastest time Vicky's interrupted. I was going to say, got a bit of a shorter episode this month. There's no Cathy Show again. Hopefully there'll be one next month, but she's like getting married. Obviously, it's hard to find time to get married and do a bunch of interviews.
Yeah, hard times, busy times.
Yeah, but she misses us, and if not, I don't think either of us have any concerts in August, do we?
No.
So that might just be a Cathy Show special.
Yeah.
We were a bit winging it today. We're both a bit tired and dead, and not very prepared.
We've done very well this month.
Very well. You've been to more shows. You want to start?
Yes, so the first one was Arctic Monkeys, I believe. That was the first week of last month. Last month.
Don't feel like long ago.
It doesn't. This month's gone so quick. I can't believe how quick it's been. It's very strange.
It's been blinking by, but we've both been proper busy, haven't we?
Yeah. Arctic Monkeys. I've seen them once before. I think I've said in numerous episodes that I love them very, very much.
Really? Didn't know.
I've also met them. I don't know if I've mentioned that before.
I thought about an episode where we talked about artists we've met.
Yeah. That might be a good shout, actually.
This might have happened towards the end of the show because we've not prepared for literal concerts, which we'd planned for.
Yeah. But no, it was good. I ended up going with my mum and Harry. We parked pretty close. It was in Hillsborough Park. I'd never been before. This was my first time standing for Arctic Monkeys as well. Last time we seated. Last time the support act was not very good. I mean, I always like to see positives, even in artists that I don't enjoy very much. It's not even a case of it wasn't my cup of tea. The entire crowd was like shocked. We were shooketh. There was very rude to the crowd for being dead.
Really?
There was, I don't think they did a full set, to be honest. They just weren't good, and then I feel really bad because people might like them, but not my cup of tea. They weren't very good live. Couldn't understand what he was saying. I don't know what went off. But we were seated. It was still a good show, even being seated. Even though it was arena, people brought in flares. And
Right.
flares inside was such a vibe.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was sort of set out like a festival. I was quite shocked. It was obviously in the big park. They've got portaloos everywhere. They've got lots of food stands, a variety of food stands. They've got like vegan food. They had like just normal food, fish and chips, that sort of vibe. They've got sweet stuff as well. There were a couple of ice cream vans, 2 or 3 merch stands as well that were quite big. I think they had 2 big long bar areas as well. Honestly, better managed than Slam Dunk.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was really well managed. I was confused about the barriers. So it was sort of like, when you go to a festival and they'll have like 3 barriers.
Yeah.
And obviously the first barrier is like the pit area.
Yeah.
And then the others you can just sort of stand back, sit down, enjoy. I feel like the very front pit might have been a different ticket set because we'd sort of walked around and we couldn't see an area to get round into the first bit. I don't know if it was like VIP section or what. But we weren't bothered about getting close anyway because I was a bit nervous going in. Obviously with everything that's been going on with concerts recently, I know we've mentioned a couple of times concert etiquette. I've seen obviously this tour blow up on TikTok for Arctic Monkeys, especially with the Hives supporting them. And a lot of chavs like Arctic Monkeys, let's be real. Nothing against chavs, but it's, you know, worrying. I was worried that it was going to be a rude crowd.
Yeah.
And it weren't that bad. It really weren't that bad. The first support act was the Mysterines. They were very good. It was sort of like dark grunge pop, female fronted.
Oh yeah.
Never heard of them before, but they're very, very good, and I probably will listen to them in the future. The Hives were crazy, honest to God. I feel like half of the people didn't know who they were until they played the most popular songs. But the interaction they had with the crowd, the energy that they had, it was insane. Like they're just insane Swedish people. I mean, he smashed and cut his head open at one of the beginning dates of the tour. So he was still swinging his mic around though,
Oh, that's good.
even after injuring his head. He was still swinging the mic around.
Daft but good.
Yeah, very very daft, but they were really good. The quality. I feel like in some of the older bands that have been around, sort of like Guns N' Roses, that sort of era of music, they're not as good live as they are recorded, but the Hives were really good. They were really spot on.
Oh,
But yeah, obviously it did get pushy towards when Arctic Monkeys were sort of getting ready to start, but not so pushy that it put us off. We ended up standing with two lads, and I don't know if it was one of their missuses or like a sister or something, but they were very, very nice. People were pushing past us, and one of the guys would shout at them and be like, "That was rude. You could have said excuse me. Like, where are your manners?" He was very nice.
that's good. Did it
And
sound like it was from Sheffield?
I think he was from around that area. There
Yeah.
was some
Do as do our prouds.
yes, God's country. There were a group of people that we were stood behind towards the beginning of the night that were a bit unruly. They said they were from Manchester. Boo, boo. They weren't mega bad, but we were like, ugh, ugh, just stop, please. Enjoy your time.
Yeah.
Stop being boisterous. Shh, be quiet. But yeah, these people we were stood next to, they were really really nice. They offered us water, because we were sharing lighters with them because they didn't have lighters, of course. But they were really really nice.
That's
And it made the experience more positive, and it sort of reinforces how bad shows have been recently. I know you'll probably talk about your experience soon.
I don't want to, but
The
go on.
recent one, yeah. But it was
Honestly. Sorry, go on.
sorry, I was just gonna say it was just really refreshing because we were so nervous about going in and having a shit time because of the crowd, and actually standing near really nice people and having a chat and just vibing. They were sort of like us, knew the newer stuff, um, didn't dislike the newer stuff, but were sort of like OG classic
Yeah.
fans. And we were all vibing, singing and dancing together, and it was so refreshing because I've found that we rarely get in that in gigs now. It's not community, it's more I'm here to have a good time for everyone else.
Yeah. Even in small venues, I've been getting that.
Yeah, it's not good. But the set overall, I mean, I feel like Arctic Monkeys get a lot of shit for being boring on stage. And I do get it. I mean, I'll speak about Muse later, but comparing the both bands don't speak a lot on stage. You get a lot of bands that like have a lot of crowd interaction, that do big speeches, stuff like that. Both bands I've found don't speak a lot. They'll maybe say a couple of words in between songs, but the way they go about it is completely different. I do get what people are saying with Arctic Monkeys. It's just sort of play songs, vibe, done. There's
Yeah.
nothing in between, and it feels a bit
That's what Goo
empty.
Goo Dolls were like as well.
Yeah, but I feel like Arctic Monkeys have always been that way.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
that's kind of their thing, innit? Quiet
yeah,
and cool.
yeah, sort of like cool vibes. But then I was speaking to Harry about it. The Last Shadow Puppets, which is Alex Turner's sort of side project with Miles Kane,
Yeah.
one of his music friends. I really like their stuff. It is sort of Arctic Monkeys, but it's very Beatles. A lot of the songs I've found, but the way he is on stage with Miles, they have a lot of bromance moments, to put it very lightly, and just his vibes on stage. He seems more comfortable, more relaxed, more
Yeah.
like dancey and crazy and stuff like that. And I get it's a side piece for him. It's not his serious proper band. He can have fun, let loose, but I feel like he should be able to do that on stage as well with AM.
Yeah.
So it's when you compare the two, it is a little bit disappointing, but I feel like some of the videos that have gone on TikTok, he's just a dad. He doesn't have kids, but he's just an old man.
Yeah. How old is
um
he?
Not that old. I think he's like 10 years older than me. He might be in like late 30s. Um
Sorry.
but no, the set was good. Like I said, I get where people are coming from, that it can be a little bit boring in between when they're waiting for like guitar changes, tuning, stuff like that. But I really, really enjoyed it. The set list was very, very good. They got a lot of hate on the Tranquility Base tour for playing a lot of the new songs and not a lot of the old ones, which I get, especially for a lot of the fans, because it was a big jump in genres for them. I really, really like the new stuff, but I get what the older fans are saying. If they
Yeah.
don't enjoy it, they don't want to hear it. But again, of course, they're going to play the newer songs. But they did only play a couple of the new songs in this set of tour. They played sort of like the singles, the more popular ones that people will know, which I liked because I feel like the vibes were better because people knew the set list was really, really good. It was a lot of the older stuff. They played Mardy Bum, and they haven't played Mardy Bum on tour, a
Love
full
that.
version of it, for years.
Yeah.
But the set list was really good in terms of variety of their older stuff, sort of like the middle age stuff, like AM era, and then obviously a bit of the newer stuff. But overall, it was really, really good, better than I was expecting. But I'm glad I went. It were very festivally, very warm, summer vibes, relaxed. I really did enjoy it, thankfully.
Good. Is this Arctic Monkey's last tour? I saw like one thing about that and then nothing else.
I don't know. I've not really seen anything about it, but they said this after Tranquility Base. They said that they wouldn't be doing an album or touring for a while because Matt and Jamie were supposed to be doing solo stuff. And there was rumours that maybe Last Shadow Puppets were doing stuff together again. So there was sort of like unofficial confirmation of a hiatus, that they weren't going
Right.
to be doing anything, but then they sprung up this new album. So I don't know if now they'll be taking a bit of a break for a couple of years and then coming back later on, or if they're
Yeah.
just calling it quits or what. But I'm not sure. I know Matt was supposed to be doing solo stuff. I think he lives in America now.
Probably.
I think most of them do, to be fair. So
Everyone good moves to America.
yeah, Harry Styles.
Leave America.
I was gonna scream it, but I was like, no, I don't want to do an audio warning for a podcast.
I
Um,
mean, I could just turn the volume right up on that.
yeah.
You can't stop me. I have all creative control.
But no, it wouldn't surprise me if they went on a hiatus, but I'm not sure. Can't confirm.
Cannot confirm. Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Rate it out of 10.
8.5.
Ooh, good. Good. I think anything above 7 is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Do you want to do Muse or shall we like alternate?
Alternate, I think, if you want to do that.
Okay. Yeah. What I was gonna say before was, if we weren't like looking to fill time, I was hoping I could be like, oh, I'll talk about it next month, and have another month to process how I feel because
Yeah.
it's that bad. But yeah, music-wise, I'll say it was very good. So I went to see Goo Goo Dolls. Those Damn Crows were opening, which I think is just a really funny band name.
Yeah. Those dang
Those
crows.
Damn Crows. They're from Wales. They seem like very nice lads and
Yeah.
they're really good musicians. They're touring at end of year. I mean, they're on tour now. They've finished the tour with Goo Goo Dolls, and now they're touring with, is it the Hollywood Vampires?
Yeah, that does sound familiar.
Johnny Depp's band.
Yes. Oh my god. What?
Yeah.
What?
It's been a really good year for Wales.
Yeah.
And Welsh bands. And Wales of other genres.
Up the north.
I was talking about orchids, but okay.
Oh, orcas.
Wales of other genres. What do you think that meant? I want that on a t-shirt that Wales of other genres. I've lost my train of thought. I'd like to. My dad texted me mum this morning saying I've got 2 tickets. If you don't want one, I'll offer my friend. And I was like, "Excuse me, where's my offer? I've just said I really liked them. What?
Rude.
I'm taking you potentially to 3 of your favourite bands this year.
Terrible.
You get slack." They're very good, and hopefully I will get to see them. They're quite. I don't know. They seem like they're going to be a really heavy band, and then they're not.
Yeah.
But they're somewhat heavy. They're heavier than Goo Goo Dolls. There's a couple of bits in the songs that reminded me of Bullet for My Valentine, but less screamy. Classic rock sound, I'd say.
Yeah, like the vintage. To be fair, I saw a TikTok about what bands now are considered dad rock.
Oh no, I've seen.
It's so bad. I am officially a father.
Congratulations, Dad. It's okay, because the bands I like have been considered dad rock for quite a while now.
Yeah. Granddad rock.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll get to see them. They are very good, those Damn Crows. And they liked the pictures that I've put up and even shared something on the podcast. So,
Ooh,
I had a couple
possible
of
interview.
Oh, possible interview, yeah. I'll see if I can get in touch for that. But yeah, Goo Goo Dolls themselves sounded good. And that's all I can say. Again, they were another one that was like not a lot of talking between songs. They had a FaceTime with a fan. I think she had like COVID or something. They was like, "Why aren't you here then? This is the cheapest shit I've ever seen." And then there was a fan pass out, and he would like stop the song and was like, "Look, we need to help this person." And that's. I like it when a band does that, but I do think it's happening too often at the minute.
Yeah.
Like, gig safety we need to consider. I mean, Matt said it's happening more and more because people are just pushing the weight up front and not taking care of themselves.
Yeah, people just don't care anymore, and it's so sad because it is literally ruining going to concerts, and it's
Well,
going to get to a point where no one's going to want to go.
Well, that's it. After the other night, I was like, I don't want to go.
Mm.
There was one nice woman next to me. I'll give her the justice she needs. She was nice.
Yeah.
Everyone else around us. So I go on photography. I got to the side because, like, I don't want to ruin other people's nights shoving a camera in their eyesight, you know?
Yeah.
And I've got all this equipment that's going to take up space. Well, I say equipment, it's the camera bag, my bag, coats, whatever. And I think tall guys look for short people to stand in front of.
Tall people should be just banned from shows. I thought about this. I can't remember which show it was, but someone needs to make a venue where
It
the
was
floor is tilted.
Yeah.
So the back of the venue is higher, if not on the same level as the stage.
If I was an artist, I would be like, right, guys, you know how pictures work? Short people at the front, back people tall. No, justice for short people, honestly.
Yes. I did see at Arctic Monkeys, I don't know what it was, but it was like a step stool that folded just into a flat circle, and a few people had them and they were standing on them, and I was like, you know what? That's such a good idea. I don't think many venues would allow them in.
No.
But that is a very good idea.
Yeah. Genius, that.
It is.
Person.
I'd never seen it before. I was like, what have they stood on? Is it something the ground? And then they moved in. I was like, what? Shook. Shook counter number 2.
Yeah. No, the crowd was awful. They were pushing, like, Matt got fully pushed over by a woman. Obviously trying to get past, but once she realised that she couldn't because there was a bar between us and he's just pushed this young lad into the corner, you could see her face. She was like, oh, I've up. But she didn't apologise. She just pushed other people around. And then we eventually were like, right, we just cannot stand in here. So we went into, like, I don't know if it classes as a foyer or what.
Yeah.
You know, there's like the little entrance bit and then
Yeah.
the main. We stood in the entrance bit, but even that was piling out. And people were, again, crying, arguing.
Oof.
No one looked happy.
No. And that's not how it should be.
No, and loads of people left early. Like, some I was like, oh, I bet this is like people going for trains. But some were like even early for that. And even then, people were piling out of the door, which I'm like, this can't be safe. But there were so many entitled people, and messes after gigs have started to get to me.
Yeah, it's been ridiculous.
Like, there were cups with stuff in that people were just walking over, and I don't mean stepping over, I mean standing on the cup, getting the water and everything. Well, it wasn't water, it was like wine, beer, and whatever they've been drinking.
Yeah.
Just standing on the cups, like, the people just not think for a second, ever.
No.
Oh. I mean, I know this isn't to do with the night, but the ride home weren't fun either.
Yeah.
And I've done this very briefly because I really don't want to get into the feelings of it all. I was so disappointed because me and Matt, like, he really likes Goo Goo Dolls. I like Iris, and I was like, obviously they're gonna do that last, and I wanted to have all the feelings and experience it live.
Yeah.
And I experienced it sat in the corner of a room thinking, why the fuck did I just not go home earlier?
Yeah.
Because we'd, like, on the lead up as well, we'd be like, oh, it's a bit of an older fan base, they're not that heavy, it's going to be a very chill night, everyone's going to be in good moods, like, No. I felt safe for going to see Metallica.
Yeah. You said
Like,
it was an older crowd as well.
it was surprisingly mixed.
Yeah.
There was a lot of older people, which I think have more of that I'm gonna have a good night, I deserve it attitude.
Mm.
But then you have the younger ones that have the TikTok over romanticizing I'm the main character, you're all NPCs
Yeah.
attitude. And this is a big generalization. I'm not saying everyone's like this, but it's the vast majority if this is like a common experience, not just for me, but like you've had it. I see people online having it.
Yeah.
It's really sad. And to be fair, I was talking to one of the lads that I work with in Alt Corner, and she said that hopefully it calms down and maybe it is just we'll have a couple of years of crazy after COVID,
Mm.
and then it'll go back to how it was. And I'm hoping that's the case.
I do as well, but I'm also not holding my breath over it.
Well, no, because everything's getting worse.
Yeah,
Like,
bad habits die hard.
yeah, not just in music. It's roads are getting worse, streets are
Yeah.
getting worse.
Just doesn't feel safe anymore. And I get what like a lot of parents and grandparents say just in general, like the
Mm,
streets aren't safe, like they wouldn't trust their grandchildren on the streets even with a phone now
mm.
because it's just not the same. It's not safe anymore. There's no sense of safety.
And everyone just feels like they can just do what they want now.
Yeah.
It's really sad. And yeah, and right home, like I said, I know this isn't on the Goo Goo Dolls, but we were obviously already fed up, and it was really awkward to get out of the car park, and we ended up having a bit of a scrape, not much, just a tiny bit of paint come off, which
Yeah.
upset me. And then part of motorway were closed off, so we had to go over at Tops. That won't mean anything to anyone that's not in the Pennines, but the Tops is like one long road at the top of the Pennines between Manchester and Huddersfield. It's really dark, really like no lights.
Yeah.
The car was up his ass, lights blaring. It were terrifying. I don't really like going on them in the light because it's like 60 miles per hour on there as well.
Yeah, I know waffling off music, but again
Mm.
with the unsafety, I've noticed a lot of Yorkshire back country roads are 60s and they should not be 60s. 40
Well,
at most.
we were on Tops once. We had a smart car, even going more than 60 on there, and going on to other side of road, overtaking people on corners with other cars coming. And I was like, you better be going to the hospital for an emergency if you're driving like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is crazy.
It, but I mean, I wouldn't have gotten so nervous if it was somewhere I knew, but I've been in Huddersfield 2 years now,
Yeah.
and I've only started exploring the roads of Huddersfield since this year.
Yeah.
So, other than the centre, I don't really know it.
Yeah, it's still new.
So, I don't know where I am. I don't like the dark. I'm seeing cars off the road, facing the direction they shouldn't be. Cars up his ass. We can't really see. It was not fun.
No.
On top of all the pushing and assaults and crying and that in the gig,
Yeah, just
I just wish I
overall
could.
shit.
And that was a Manchester-based gig, so I do want to say it is Manchester people, but we've experienced it in Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh.
Like I said, the only show that I felt had the feeling of before COVID was FVK, but I dare say that's because we knew pretty much everyone there.
Yeah, it's not even just because it was a small venue, because we've both been to smaller venues and had equally just as shit as of a time.
Yeah.
It is,
Mind you, yours truly at the Key Club was alright. There were one or two people that were but
yeah,
all around an enjoyable night.
yeah.
But that was just not an enjoyable night. Sorry, carry on.
I was just gonna say it really puts you off. I mean, we're going to a few gigs sort of later on in the year / early next year that I am so nervous for. Scene
Who's
Queen
that?
is one of them. I
I wish I
mean,
could have to that.
the um the tickets sold out so fast that they upgraded the venue
And then they sold out again.
and then they sold out again. And it's only a slightly bigger venue. It was Key Club, but now it's Leeds Stylus.
Yeah, that's where I saw Sleeping with Sirens.
Yeah, so it is only very slightly bigger. And we didn't have a bad experience with them at Slam Dunk, but it had the opportunity to go bad. I mean, it was a very, very small stage that she was playing and it was packed. We were like sardines, you couldn't move.
It is
Um,
like stylus. I
yeah,
won't lie.
but it's sort of a catch-22 of the type of music that she has. You'd think the fans would be more understanding and nice, but I'm not holding my hopes out. And but then on the flip side, a bigger venue, we managed to get tickets for Bring the Horizon next year.
Congratulations.
And as much as I'm like, oh my god, yes, I'm buzzing about it. I'm so excited. Bad Omens are going to be there. I'm not holding out hope that the crowd's going to be good at all.
Mm.
I mean, it is a bigger venue. It's Chef. I don't even know what it's called anymore. Fly DSA, Motorpoint.
I think it's saying it.
Is it still Fly? Yeah.
Was last time I checked, but that was God knows how long.
Yeah, I think it's they get sponsored, don't they, by people, but
Yeah.
it's a bigger venue, but the standing is not that big.
No.
And the way that it's shaped, it's sort of like an oval. So I am looking forward to it, but I'm also not. I already know it's gonna be a bad night.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's with bad omens as well, and
Yeah.
TikTok band.
Yeah. I mean, they are really, really good, and videos tend to be really small as well. Yeah, the videos on TikTok,
back?
with the crowds from Bad Omens don't seem that bad, but it's America, smaller venues.
Yeah, and they do seem chiller at American shows. They're a lot
Yeah.
more tame. On the way home for a minute, I full on went into panic mode because I was like, I stopped playing live music because of kids. I'm gonna stop experiencing live music because of kids.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I supposed to do now? Like going into a career where I have to go to live music.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to go straight to Dark Side and do PR.
Yeah. I mean, we can only hope that it will get better. I mean, is this the first or second year after COVID?
I think the first full year, I think there were still kind of things towards the start of last year, weren't
Yeah. I feel like it only just opened last year and people are still wary and not doing gigs.
there? Yeah,
So, but even so, how long do we give it?
yeah. I mean, all the money's in PR, so that might be the shout anyway.
True, true.
There's no music, no money in reviewing, which is what I want to do. Anyway, I think we've just got time for Muse now.
Yes. So again, even though we've just sort of had a bit of a downer, it was really positive, and I will recommend going to a Muse gig until the cows come home. Even if you're not a fan of Muse, even if you know 2 songs, the shows that they put in and the effort they put into the shows is just outstanding. It really, really is. context,
Can we go to one?
I think we've spoken about light structures before.
Mm.
Well, I've met the CEO of Light Structures through college because I was doing a music degree.
Yes.
He is best friends with Matt Bellamy.
What?
Yes.
How?
Very, very close friends. I don't know. I don't know if they met before or after he started being a staging company, but 9 times out of 10, Light Structures do the staging for Muse.
Ooh.
And the catering as well, Rockpool Cafe, I think they're called. So we actually got to see the first. I was gonna say the first support act. They only had one support act. When they were setting up and doing stuff in between sets, it was all students from Light Structures.
Oh, bless them.
And you could just see how excited they were. They were really young. There was a good mix of male and female as well, which is good to see because I feel like teching and stage management, you mainly see men doing it, but there were a lot of women,
Oh, good.
which was really, really nice. But I don't know if anyone's seen the pictures from any of the shows that they've done this tour, but the staging is immaculate. Like the lighting, the pyros, the lasers, just the basic stuff that you'd find at other shows, insane. Absolutely
Oh,
insane. Not
that's good.
factoring in the big sort of animatronic robot things that they'll have on stage. I'm terrified of them. I'm not gonna lie. But the last time we saw them in Manchester, they had, I can't remember the robot's name, but it was this big, I think it was made of polystyrene, like big robot corpsey type thing, and the way it moved was so realistic. It was so creepy, but it was so big. It's just, the scale's insane. This tour that had I think it's sort of the new album's concepty,
Yeah,
sort of like
they
a
do like a
rebellion,
concept album.
yeah, rebellion sort of vibe. And the first sort of animatronic they had, it was like a big, it was like a bust, shoulders, one hand, and a big face with the mask. It's like sort of like glass shards and a mirror.
Yeah.
For the mask, which they all came out wearing for the first few songs, but it it moved. The hand moved. The hand had lights in it. The face actually had a projector in it as well. So Matt's face was projected onto it on a couple of songs. There was skulls. There was one of my favorite songs from the new album. You Make Me Feel Like Halloween. It's so spooky and good. I love it. The faces were flashing to all like iconic horror faces, so like Jigsaw, Jason, Scream, every like horror iconic thing that you can think of, it was flashed on. It was just insane. And then right towards the end, it was the encore. They had a big inflatable like bull type person-y thing, and the eyes were flashing, and it was inflatable, so it wasn't as impressive. But from a stage point of view, like there was the big bull at the back, and then towards the two sort of like landing strips to the two sides of the stages, it was its hands. So we were to one side of the stage, so we could only see the bull and like sort of one bit of the arm. But I've seen pictures from people in the middle, and it sort of looks like he's, sort of like rising from the stage, and it looks insane.
Yeah.
My manager from work went, and she went by herself, but she said it was so good. The sheer amount of effort and thought and creativity that goes into it it's just insane. Like I said, even if you don't like them, just go for the show if you can and want to. It's amazing. It really is. The set
I'd love
list
to
was
see
so
one
good. It was a really good set list. It was last
live.
time we saw them. I mean, we got there after doors because we were like, we're not really bothered about getting towards front. We don't mind hanging back a little bit. We wouldn't say that we're mega fans of Muse. We know a good few songs. We really like them, but we didn't want to be right up front, not knowing some of the songs they were playing. So we were like,
Yeah.
we don't mind, we'll get sort of like middle towards back. So we got there an hour after doors and ended up at the barrier. And I don't know how, but this happened the last time we were at Huddersfield. It was Hella Mega Tour. We got there a bit late and ended up being barrier. We could literally touch the stage. We were that close. I've got some
Riveting.
really, really good photos. I'll send them over to you.
Yeah, for Instagram.
Yeah, it was just so good. I can't. And even the crowd, not just the show itself, obviously. Most gigs that you go to, the show is good. It's just the crowd that lets you down. The crowd was so polite. I mean, it weren't packed like sardines. No one were pushing. It was actually an older crowd. There were a few younger people, but it was mainly older people, which really surprised me. But then again, Muse are classed as granddad rock now, so doesn't surprise me. But everyone were just so nice. It were good vibes. Everyone were having a good time, enjoying themselves. There were not one single minute where I thought, I'm really uncomfortable. This is pissing me off. It was really, really nice. And like I said, to say that we've both had such shit experiences this year with crowds mainly, and just it putting us off to a point where we're considering why we're going to gigs anymore. It was so refreshing to have two really, really good gigs where the crowd was good and made it even better.
Good.
Which
I've said in my reviews, like when I've had really bad crowds, like please remember when you go to gigs, the audience can make the gig.
Yeah.
And you can have a good time and have your moment and still think of other people's and make sure you don't, ruin their night.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's controversial, but I did take quite a few pictures that night just because I wanted to get really good views of the stage just to show how amazing it was.
I don't think taking photos at gigs should be such a taboo.
I had a few spats with someone in college a few people in college that got really, really annoyed about how many pictures me and my friends took at gigs. But I get where people are coming from. It is off-putting when someone's filming the entire gig in front of you and you like put your phone down and enjoy it. But taking pictures for memories and just to soak it in afterwards, it's not bad. Like, I
There's a
prefer
lot
it that way.
worse things you can do.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you're being considerate and nice, taking a few pictures isn't harmful. I forgot to mention that Royal Blood War with a support act, actually.
Oh.
Completely glossed over there. To be fair, it's only very brief and very quick. They were really good. The setlist were good. I know more Royal Blood songs than I thought I did. It still amazes me how two people, a bassist and a drummer, can make such good music. Like my sister, she was like, "That's a bass, but it sounds like a guitar," and I was like, "Yep, that's Royal Blood. That's literally Royal Blood." But it was really, really good. I was a little bit like, is the crowd gonna be dead with it being an older crowd? Is it gonna be a repeat of what happened a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
But it wasn't. They were really, really nice to the crowd, actually. They had a few flirty moments with some people in the crowd.
Ooh.
I'm also delusional, and
Right.
I'm convincing myself that I had an interaction with the lead singer. So what
Oh,
happened
God.
was he was trying to get everyone to sort of like pump the fists in the air, and we weren't. Me, Madison, and Harry, my partner, we weren't. We were stood there, we were clapping along, having a vibe, and he were pointing towards us, and we were quite close to the stage. So
Yeah.
every time he pointed towards us to do it, I ducked down. And then when I stood back up, he'd point and then do it again, as if to motion to do it. So I did that a couple of times, and I said to them, I'm like, I'm literally delusional. I will tell everyone that I've had an interaction, and I'm going to find videos and prove that it happened. It probably
I've
didn't,
heard more
but like I said,
deluded.
we were really close to the stage, close enough that you could make eye contact with each other. So I'm just gonna outright say that we had an interaction, and it was funny. And And it weren't bad. It weren't like the one a couple of weeks ago when he dissed the crowd for being dead.
Oof.
But no, it were really good. They seemed like they had a really good time, really good music, really good set. Even their staging were really good, I've noticed.
Yeah.
I think the problem we had with Muse last time was that the stage, when we saw them in Manchester, their staging was insane. Again, the lighting, the lasers, the background, stuff like that. But the two support acts they had, Pale Waves and Tom Morello, again, they were really, really good. I really, really enjoyed their sets. But the staging wasn't great. It was just basic, sort of like, you know, when you go to a pub and a band's playing and they've got them like twisty sort of like party lights that you'd find at a school disco behind.
Yeah.
With like the basic settings. It was sort of like that, but it was nice to see that they had their own sort of like lighting set up and done.
That's good.
Yeah, but yeah, it were really, really good. I'm disappointed for you that you didn't have a better time, and I feel like it's a massive kick in the teeth to you that we had such a good time, and it's such a contrast.
It's not a kick in the teeth. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I won't lie, I'm fully envious that
Yeah.
you've both seen bands I love and had a good time.
Well, Muse are touring again in September in Manchester.
Well, if only someone had a birthday in September.
Exactly. We'll see what we can do. We might have to see them. Because to be fair, I'd spoken about this earlier and I was like, even though it's the same tour and it's probably going to be the same like staging, maybe same set list, stuff like that, I will still pay money to go and see them. So
I mean, I'm on about going to see McFly twice on their tour in October, November.
Yeah.
Me Uncle Steve's like, if you want to go see McFly in Brid, I'll take you. You can stay at mine.
Do it.
So now I have to convince Matt that 2 shows of the same tour is a good idea.
Yeah. It always is. It could be worse. You could be following him around the country like some people do.
It'll be my 3rd time this year seeing them. I'm seeing
really
them next
love
week.
to do that.
And then I'm seeing them in, I think it's late October, they're in Leeds. And then it's the 10th of November, they're in Brid. I feel like I've put myself up for something in Alt Corner around then.
Yeah.
I know I'm seeing Louis on the 13th of November. I don't know.
We'll have to see.
I want to see him as much as possible, though.
Yeah. But yeah,
I mean, there's still tickets for you to see him next week.
To see
McFly.
Is there?
Yeah.
What day is it? Is it a weekend?
It's Thursday.
Thursday. Oh, I'm off on Thursdays. I'll see what I can do. We are at a funeral on Friday, though.
I'm at a wedding.
Ah.
Cathy's wedding.
Oh, is it Cathy's wedding?
It's Cathy's wedding the day after. We're moving in Tuesday into his new flat. And I've got McFly Thursday and Cathy's wedding. We've got another weekend of literature festival. We're not stopping, me and Matt.
God. It's good to keep busy, though. Ish.
Huh?
As long as you don't exhaust yourself, that's all that matters.
Well, I think that's why I'm sick, because I'm exhausted.
Yeah. But I'll have a look at McFly tickets. It might be a no, but I'll see what I can do. And Muse, I will see, because I don't know if the tickets are on sale yet. But
Okay.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay, well, we'll carry on planning this, but we'll finish up the podcast first, shall we?
Yes, yeah.
Right. So, thank you for listening to everyone. I'm really sorry that it's been a messy one, but plans fell through. We got sick. We've had tech issues while recording. So, hopefully you're stuck with us.
Yes.
And thank you, Tiegan, for sticking with us.
Yes, and thank you for doing most of the work.
Thank you. And God knows what we'll talk about next month. Oh, band of artist of the month.
Ooh,
Shall we say Muse?
Muse, not Goo Goo Dolls.
Goo Goo Dolls were good. Those Damn Crows, I'd be more tempted to.
Yeah, well, we could do
But
a joint
I feel
one.
really bad. I actually put in my review that I'm an apology to Goo Goo Dolls and Those Damn Crows because I was there for them and I couldn't actually talk about them because
Yeah.
so much went on.
It
But
could
yeah,
be a joint
sorry. I'll stop being miserable now. I might as well go see Morrissey in a couple of weeks. I'm that miserable.
one. Oh, God.
That's tempting me, but I don't want to give him money.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for listening,
Yes.
and we'll see you eventually again.